Hello, all my crafty people out there. It is time for our weekly project. If you have not been here before, my name is Stephanie, and I upcycle clothing, generally things I find at my local thrift stores, and make either new clothing or accessories or something in between. So, this week is no different in that particular aspect. I was walking into Goodwill this weekend and found this. It still had the tags on it. It's not a high quality made dress and it's too big for me, but the lace caught my eye. I have seen a project several times out in the wild that I think they're starting to mass produce. And I'd like to do that. I'm going to show y'all a picture of it up on the screen. And we're going to combine it with a pair of jeans. Well, they're shorts, but not shorts. They're not Bermuda, but they're not quite capri. And I bought them a little large because I kind of wanted them to be loose fitting. I don't think I'm going to have to take the seams out of them, but if I do, I wanted that possibility. And if they're too big, then I can tuck them up. So they got cute little rhinestone-y pockets. Anyway, we are going to have some fun with these two pieces, and if you like this kind of content, or if you want to give us a try, by all means, follow along, like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I will catch y'all at the table. Okay, everybody, here is our dress that we're going to be working with, and of course, here is the pair of capri shorts, I guess. You can see the little sparkles maybe catch the light on the pockets. They're really cute. So I think it's going to go well with this lace. And we're going to do something that we've done similarly before, and it seemed to go over quite well from the video to me wearing it in public. We're going to put this on the bottom of these pants. Now, I figured we didn't need a full pair of jeans if we were just going to be cutting them off anyway. However, I would recommend, since I don't have the full length to these jeans, find a pair of jeans that you like to wear and measure the inseam. Do that to make sure you get these long enough for what you want to wear them with. Maybe with heels, maybe with flat sandals, whatever you want to do. So the first thing we need to do, hopefully y'all aren't hearing all that thunder, is to disassemble. And we're going to just take the skirt, which only has two seams, thank goodness, on each side, one on each side. There's no seam in the back. And we're going to just cut this off of the dress itself. And I'm not too concerned about the cut because we're not going to need this full length. Obviously, I'm not that tall, but I want to get it pretty close to the waistline in case we want to use the top for something. So let me cut this up and we'll get to working. Okay, I've laid out the two pieces and folded them together like they would be for the legs of the pants. First, I am going to go over and I'm going to serge them first. I think that's what I should do first. Okay, everybody, I think the first thing we need to do after we've made our lace legs is to cut off our pants. Not a lot. I'm putting a good healthy 5-inch inseam down here. I don't want to cut off too much because here's my idea. I think what we'll do is we'll use that finished edge of the lace that was at the bottom of the dress. We're going to slip it up on the leg, and that'll give us the ability to get really high on the leg without having to cut a lot off. In other words, there'll be a little bit left behind the lace as opposed to having really short Daisy Dukes. So that's the plan. And again, I don't want to cut too much of it off, but I'm going to cut about, it's about a 5-inch inseam down here. And I'm just going to take the good old, the poor old rotary cutter and cut it off. Gotta give it a couple of runs because it is denim. And there we go. Now what I'm going to do, since I got these cut off like jorts, I'm going to go run the serger around each of the bottom of the legs just to give it a little security. I don't think this is going to run too much. This has got some spandex in it, so I don't think it's going to run too much, but I would just prefer to secure it before we put the legs on. Okay, I've serged off the edge with a 5-inch inseam, so I've got plenty of room there. They're long. And then I have put one of the lace legs up on the leg and pinned it down. And I tried to make sure I got 3 of the flowers in the front and 3 in the back. So now I'm going to do the same thing with this one, and I'll take a couple of measurements to make sure that I've got them lined up pretty evenly, like a measurement for maybe from the bottom of the pocket to this, to make sure that these match lengthwise. Of course, some of it's eyeballing it. So again, I'm using the bottom of the lace that was already finished. This is my serge line over here. So I'm going to take that, the only seam on here, on each leg, and I'm going to line it up with the seam, the inseam of the pants or the jeans. And we gotta have to push it up pretty high to make sure that we catch exactly what we need to get those 3 flowers across the front. Okay, I have the legs sewn on, and what I'm doing is a little hand stitching. Not my favorite thing to do, but I wanted to make sure that these little top pieces are secure. So I'm just whip stitching around the edge to make sure that they're not going anywhere, because you can't really get the machine in and out of there. I just did a straight circle around the legs to put the lace on. And after I whip stitch all of the little flowers, which there's about, I don't know, 12 of them. Anyway, once I whip stitch these, then we're going to go try them on and figure out exactly where I need to cut them off. I need at least a 30-inch inseam to wear like a boot or a heel. So I think I'm going to be cutting right around these ended flowers. And that way we won't have to hem it because they'll have a finished edge. Okay, we're down to the last part of the process. I've whip stitched around all the top pieces to make sure they're secure. It was sewn on to the leg. And now I need 30 inches, and I've measured another pair of jeans to make sure that's good, the pair of jeans that fits me where I want them to land. So I think it's going to be this flower set on both sides that I'm going to cut out around. And because they're the most... There's this little weird part that doesn't look like it would hold anything, and then there's the solid pieces there. We're going to cut on the edge of these solid pieces and make the edge. All right, everybody. I am beyond pumped on how these turned out. The thing that makes these different than any of the others I've made is the way I connected them. I connected them with a straight line, but tacking up the lace edge to make it look more seamless, more like it's supposed to be joined there, I think is what really gives these the extra. So, yes, it might be hard to find this lace in the wild. I don't know. I find it all the time. But there are a lot of online options to find you some lace, and I really highly recommend giving it a try. It's a great summer pair of jeans. So if you like this kind of content, if you had a good time, by all means, like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I will catch y'all on the flip side of our next project.